Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. And here at the Combine on HTFN, we pride ourselves on being the best when it comes to sports and news coverage. With that being said, we have had an excellent year. We just had UCF Gaming coming on, and we did an interview with them. It was fantastic. And to take one step forward and move forward in that, I am putting it down a goal today. I am asserting that we are going to accomplish this goal and feat sometime this year. I will get Sydney Sweeney on for an interview. Sydney Sweeney, if you can do Madam Web, you can do the Combine. Come on, man. Anyways, it's going to happen. I love Sydney Sweeney. Anyways, we'll be back right after this quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
And we are back. And with me are two excellent, very interesting men, might I add, is Nick Cohen and Justice Covert Operations. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Doing great.
I'm doing fantastic.
Well, that's
I'm doing
excellent.
magnificent.
You said, oh, magnificent. Ho ho.
I'm doing good.
So, we are here today to talk about something that we've been working on for about 2 weeks. Nick Justice and I joined forces like the Justice League to come up with the single greatest mock draft that could ever be created before the free agency period. Because obviously some moves are going to be made. A lot of our picks are going to be wrong. But we will follow up in about a month and a half with a more updated, more clean and concise mock. But for now, we can, poke around, dip our toes in the water of what Mel Kiper does for 4 days, and see what results we yield. So I say we dive right into this. And obviously, as everyone knows, the Chicago Bears have the first overall pick. And I don't think it's going to be any surprise. It's going to be Caleb Williams. Unless, for God knows what reason, Matt Eberflus decides that he wants to keep Justin Fields, it's going to be Caleb.
Well, and I'm not opposed to keeping Justin Fields.
Me neither. I'm starting to.
But Justin Fields is opposed to staying now that the Bears have treated him so poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think he's wasting his career away in
Future
Chicago.
Steeler.
Falcon?
Maybe Raider.
Steeler.
Ho ho.
Yeah.
A little
Future
interesting.
not Bears quarterback.
Future not
Definitely
Bears
the
quarterback is a
Patriots,
consensus I can get behind. But
Patriots will get Russell Wilson, but we don't.
boo! I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your mockumentary. Slandering the great name of football. Russell Wilson. You saw that quote he just put out like 2 days ago, and he was like, "I'm going to win 2 Super Bowls in the next 5 years."
Not with the Patriots, he's not.
He's going to get 2 Dunkin' Donuts jobs in the next 5 years. That's what's going to happen. 2 different locations. Anyways, Caleb Williams, number 1 to the Bears. That's what we like. And moving forward, the Washington Commanders have the 2nd overall pick. I know we were just talking. Dan Campbell's the head coach over there now. Maybe they go defense. I don't think
Dan Quinn, not Dan Campbell.
Oh, did I say Dan Campbell?
Yeah,
I'm
you
so
said Dan
sorry. I
Campbell.
love Dan Campbell. He's the best.
We know.
Dan Quinn, I'm sorry,
AC/DC.
was hired. Former Cowboys DC is now their head coach. Could go defense. I don't think so. I think he's more than happy to take the second best quarterback on the board, who is Drake May, of course, out of UNC. Phenomenal quarterback. I know Justice is saying we don't see a lot of highlights from this guy right now. They're kind of keeping it secluded. But I do think he is participating at the Combine, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's going to show out. A lot of people are saying he may go 1 for that. I doubt it.
By the way, opposed to Caleb Williams, who 2 days ago announced that he will not be at the Combine.
Yeah.
Just to
Shows
throw that
grit
out
and
there.
determination. Dan Quinn loves that in a quarterback. No, I'm just kidding. But Drake May at 2, I think it's pretty clear and concise. Moving on to number 3. This is one that it's kind of split down the middle right now, and I can see both sides of it. And we, as a conjoined collective, decided that it's going to be Jaden Daniels to the Patriots up at 3. But it could go either way. Marvin Harrison Jr. could very well be the pick here. He is a generational prospect at wide receiver. I think he's the best receiver prospect we've seen since at least Megatron, probably. You can make the case. Obviously, Justin Jefferson's been a stud. He's now one of the best, if not the best.
But he wasn't
receiver
the
in
best
league.
prospect.
But he wasn't the best
Yeah, he
prospect.
wasn't getting his hype.
He wasn't the best
Yeah,
prospect.
they took Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. So.
Exactly. So
Mistake of the
MHJ is
century.
definitely the best receiver, right?
Yeah.
But for the time being, the Patriots need a quarterback desperately. Jaden Daniels is on the board. He's projected to be one of the top 3 quarterbacks, top 5 pick. I think it's a smart play.
Unfortunately, our Patriots fan, Ezra, isn't too happy with that.
Yeah, he just walked out of the studio. We
Yeah.
wish him a safe travel home if he leaves, but he shouldn't because he's going on Jeopardy in a little bit. So,
Right.
Moving on to our 4th pick of the day, the Arizona Cardinals are picking up right where the Patriots didn't leave off. They're taking Marvin Harrison Jr., and I mean, it's no surprise. This is the best non-quarterback on the board.
Yeah, and it's terrifying for me because when I see something like this, I just think of Larry Fitzgerald, and Marvin Harrison's just going to waste his entire career in the desert with
Kyler.
little old Kyler Murray throwing
What are you
the ball.
talking about? You don't remember that amazing Cardinals Green Bay
Kyler will
game
be a
with
top
Al
10
Michaels
quarterback
calling,
next year.
Larry
Mark my
Fitzgerald
words.
scores. That was the
Yeah.
best. That was one of the best calls in the NFL ever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald was a phenomenal athlete.
And
Oh,
yeah,
Hall of
Marvin
Famer.
Harrison's going to be great, but they're not going to win. Anytime
That's
soon.
fair.
Yeah, perpetual losing for Arizona. But I think logically, if Arizona's sitting here at 4 and they need, somebody, they're going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. It's an easy.
Who's
safe
also not participating in the combine
Or the
pro day.
or the
at
People are
pro
being
day.
so
yesterday.
weird right now. Athletes are being so
Yeah.
weird about the combine and pro day. I get you don't want to get injured, but I mean, it's the combine. Everyone does it. But before we speed run through some of them, because we are taking our sweet little time on these first 5. 5th overall, I know it. If Jaden Daniels slips, I think the Chargers could trade out. There are a lot of teams gunning for that. The person we have them taking is going to be Brock Bowers, tight end out of Georgia, and he could be available at a lower pick, I should say. So they could trade out if they wanted to, if Daniels slips. But for the time being, if a quarterback hasn't slipped, there's no reason for them to trade out. I don't think they'll get that much out of it.
I actually do think they will still trade out, only because, and I know I didn't do it here, because this was my pick, but because I think Brock Bowers will still last at like pick 8 if the Falcons wanted to trade up if Jaden Daniels were still there, like you mentioned. But Brock Bowers, I mean, I know some people are saying they need offensive tackle, some people saying they need receiver.
Yep.
I disagree with that. I mean, offensive tackle, every team could use an extra one, but receiver, like you just drafted Quentin Johnston, rough year.
Yeah.
But it was his rookie season.
You gotta stick with
like,
him.
don't move on already.
got Palmer
Okay,
and Keenan,
Brock
right?
Bowers, he can block as good as any tight end in the recent history.
Yeah.
He can catch, he can run, he can do everything you want a tight end to do. And Jim Harbaugh loves his tight ends.
Yeah.
He's, in my opinion, a better prospect than Kyle Pitts. So
Oh,
he's
yeah.
worth
I
he's
can
worth
agree.
this
I
5th
agree
pick.
with that.
But I do also think they could trade out.
And on that same token, I hear a lot of people saying Mike Williams is out because he cost them $13.5 million in cap space right now.
Could be true.
But Quentin Johnston is the same build. He's
Exactly,
virtually the same
exactly.
player.
Yeah.
It's a plug and play.
And then you still
don't
have
need to
Joshua
draft somebody
Palmer,
else to save
Darius
money.
Davis.
Exactly. You have a solid receiver core without him. You don't need a Mike Williams. We've proven you don't need a Mike Williams, right? Yeah. He's been injured half the time. So, anyways, moving on, we're going to go ahead and speed run probably 6 through 10. I think they're all pretty self-explanatory picks. At 6, Malik Neighbors with the Giants. This guy, in any other class, is the best receiver on the board. But with MHJ there, he's unfortunately second. But this guy's a stud. Very physical, despite being only 6 foot. But great athlete. I think New York will use him very well, given they only have Paris Campbell, Darius Slayton, and these guys on here. No true wide receiver 1. This guy could be that for them. Moving forward, the Titans. O-tackle Joe Alt. I think that's pretty self-explanatory too.
They've been needing tackle help for a while now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is big for them. Really crazy that he's going to fall to 7, but there's really no way that he could have gone any earlier. So
Maybe to the Chargers, but
Maybe
I
to
think
the
that'd be a
Chargers.
mistake.
The Giants reached a little bit a couple years back when they took Evan Neal, so we could maybe see them try that again.
I have also seen that.
But I don't think they do. I think they have a solid enough O-line that they can make it work, but they need
Giants
receivers
taking
so
that'd be
bad.
nuts. Yeah.
They need a receiver so bad. I don't think they can pass on Malik Neighbors if he's
I
taken
agree.
at 6. But Alt to the Titans, we like that. Number 8, the Falcons. We like edge Dallas Turner.
First defender off the board.
First defender
Best
off the board
defender.
at 8, which is the craziest thing. 7 offensive players before, but this is an offensive-heavy draft. It really is. But Turner's a phenomenal player. I know a lot of people are saying Latu was going to be the first a couple weeks back. I saw a lot of that. I saw that even
Just
Jerzon
so much
Newton
injury
could have been the first.
history. I
Yeah.
feel like he's very similar to Jalen Phillips, who the Dolphins
could
took
see it.
at 15. So I think, and not that they're the exact same player, but similar history. I
Yeah.
feel like 15 is Latu's like ceiling.
Yeah, and I can see it. But moving forward to 9, the Bears went out and got Caleb Williams. They're going to go ahead and get Romo Dunze, wide receiver out of Washington. And I think this is a great pick for a number of reasons. I mean, for one, they're telling Caleb, like, hey, we believe in you. Like, we're going out and getting a guy. You just lost Darnell Mooney. This is a great opportunity for them to get somebody opposite DJ Moore. somebody who can bring in a lot of attention on the defensive front, defensive DB room, everything there. You got to really watch out for a guy like this.
My favorite receiver in the class.
Extremely talented.
Yeah, I was about to say mine too, because Bucky Brooks just said Rome Odunze is his wide receiver too, but obviously MSJ is going to do really well, but I like Rome Odunze a lot.
Fast, tall.
too.
He's
Yeah.
got
Doesn't
everything you
drop
want.
anything.
Yeah.
Very physical, but
Contested
still quick.
catch. Yeah, he
Yeah.
can do it
Still
all.
quick. Great route running too.
Yeah.
He is what Darnell. He's everything that Darnell Mooney wasn't, which is the craziest thing.
Yeah.
He is a
Yeah.
perfect plug and play there, and I think it shows a lot of character, and it already builds some kind of a connection between the front office in Chicago and Caleb, right? I think it's great. But moving forward to 10, we have Olu Fashanu, O-tackle from Penn State, heading to the New York Jets. And I love this pick, right? I think Olu Fashanu is a big physical guy. We were just talking about this beforehand, but if we were gonna compare him to any player active in the league right now, it's an unfortunate comparison, but Mekhi Becton, just because these are both huge physical offensive tackles. I think Fashanu has a taller ceiling, I should say, than Becton did, but still incredibly strong, raw, talented offensive tackle. I think he's going to be great for this team.
If I'm being honest, I have Fuaga here instead, just because there's been some connections, but I personally don't hate Olu going here at all. I mean, they need tackle, so it's really just who you have higher, you know?
I've also heard some rumors that the Jets could be targeting David Bakhtiari. Now, the Packers are thinking about cutting him and giving
Another
him one more
injury
year
prone
With
tackle.
Rodgers,
with Rodgers,
Another
which would be
injury.
a
Oh, that wouldn't
great
be bad.
move because they have the cap space for
Yeah,
it. But
and then maybe they could draft receiver.
exactly. But then they're reaching a little bit. Maybe you get Brian Thomas here, or you trade back and get
Not
him.
at
but
10,
I think
yeah.
it's a bit of a reach at 10. But moving forward, don't put it up just yet. This is where things got really interesting
Yes.
in our draft, in our mock. Really interesting. I mean, we dug our toes into the mud, wiggled our piggies around a little bit, and really got dirty with this one. We said, you know what, we're gonna be animals. So we went out and we had the Raiders trade up with the Vikings to steal J.J. McCarthy at 11.
And isn't that spicy? Like, inner division, Raiders, do they not need quarterback? I think they do. I don't think
Raiders
Aiden
need
McConnell's
quarterback.
the guy.
Raiders need
Okay,
quarterback.
so why don't we only trade up 2 picks with the Vikings,
Yeah.
who I think they'll get Kirk Cousins, but that's, we'll have to see about that. But skip your interdivisional rival, get who's being mocked as the 4th best quarterback in the class, J.J. McCarthy, who has so much potential. Like, he could be the franchise guy. He could be.
Yeah, I'm a big McCarthy fan. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot, and he's a game manager, which is exactly what the Raiders want to do. I think if they take McCarthy and then they keep Josh Jacobs, they can turn into a run-heavy offense and just go from there.
Yeah, and we do have 2 more crazy picks after this, but for time's sake, I'm going to run through them. At 12, we have the Broncos stealing Bo Nix. A little quarterback panic. Someone's taken off the board. Everyone starts to worry.
They need quarterback.
I love Bo Nix to the Broncos, though. I think that's a great pick. I think they could get him in round 2, but I think if McCarthy goes at 11, I think the Broncos panic. They know quarterback's going to be gone. They want a young guy. They go out and get him. Speaking of young guys at quarterback, 13, the Vikings taking Penix and keeping him in purple.
Not that young,
I
but,
love that.
Yeah.
I think they could get him in round 2, but this is arguably the 3rd best QB prospect in this draft. Quarterback prospect. I'm not talking about athlete and athletic ability. I'm talking about quarterbacking. This guy's accuracy is phenomenal. Last year it was C.J. Stroud. That was the most accurate quarterback in the class. This year I think it's Penix. This guy's accuracy is
he
almost
doesn't
unmatched.
miss on deep balls. I can only imagine him throwing to Jettas.
Yeah,
But moving forward at 14, the Saints are taking Talie's Fuaga, offensive tackle out of Oregon State. Phenomenal prospect. You were just preaching about him. Absolutely great talent. At 15, we have the Colts selecting Laiatu Latu, edge out of UCLA. And this is
Ezra approves.
Did I say that wrong?
No.
Oh, you
Ezra
were giggling
approves.
at me. Ezra, stop distracting us, Ezra. What are you doing, man? You see this guy?
I said his ceiling was
No,
15.
I'm sorry, Ezra, I love you.
took advantage. He went
But-
at 15.
Latu is a defensive end weighing in at 6'5", 260 pounds. He's a D-tackle build playing defensive end, and the crazy part is he's still extremely fast. So he's so versatile. This team that loves speed, player of the same name, EJ Speed, they could rotate him in as an edge rusher on the outside linebacker position if needed. They can rotate him in at D-tackle if needed. They can play him at D-end. Phenomenal, versatile edge rusher. I love the pick. But moving forward, I know we're on a time crunch. You get the floor for this one. This guy was ranked 122 on PFF's big board.
Okay. First of all, Michael Hall Jr. has been mocked to first-round picks. Okay, Walter Football put him in the first round at 17 with the Jets. Walter
Football's a crazy pull.
Yeah, he's great. Okay.
I love Walter Football, but
he's accurate too. Okay, but here's the thing. Michael Hall Jr., he's probably not going to go 16, but I just wanted to put him up here because I think he's going to do really well. And I think he's going to come to the combine. A lot of people are going to turn heads, and they're going to see Michael Hall Jr., and he's going to show up as one of those late bloomers that we see every year that we never hear about.
Yeah.
Well, here he is, Michael Hall Jr., and he's going to be, I don't know, maybe late 20s in the first round, but they're going to pick him up. He's very agile. He could work everywhere on the line. He's a little bit too big as an edge, a little too small as a defensive tackle, but I think with the right coaching, especially in Seattle with their new head coach.
Yep.
He looks a bit lean for D tackle.
He does, but he's a solid player. I think he could sneak into the early second maybe. I don't know if he goes first. But moving forward, again, we have the Jags.
Okay.
And I do want to explain something real quick about this pick. Brian Thomas Jr. heading there, a big physical guy, still very quick. But real quick for everyone, though, who doesn't know, the Jaguars signed Calvin Ridley in this past offseason, and part of that deal was a
They traded for him with the Falcons.
They did trade for him. I'm sorry. Part of that deal involved a third-round pick that could become a second. The terms of that selection were if the Jags were to re-sign Ridley to another deal, all of a sudden that third-round pick that they traded would become a second-round
pick.
Exactly. So if they let him walk, it stays a third. So if they decide to re-sign him and they like him, all of a sudden you give the Jags another second round, you lose one. If you let him walk, you get to keep that second, but you lose the third. I think it's a smarter move to let him walk if you can get Brian Thomas here. This guy's phenomenal.
Then the smart move with Ridley would probably be to tell him, hey, we're going to let you walk, go into free agency, and then we're going to sign you as soon as free agency starts. Because if they do that, they just lose a third. But if they re-sign him now, they lose a second. So they'll let him walk probably.
Or just let him walk. I mean, he wasn't, spectacular.
He was fine.
He took
he'll still be expensive.
But you already have Christian Kirk,
took, 2 years off?
Marvin Jones is still there, I believe.
care.
But
1,000-yard receiver after 2
moving
years.
forward, because we are flying through time, at 18, Cincinnati, J.C. Latham, probably the most well-rounded day one offensive tackle in this draft. Huge. J.C. Latham is 6'6", about 360 pounds. Huge, 359. I was right there. But massive guy. Speed running the rest. 19, Nate Wiggins, cornerback to the Rams, and 20, Amarius Mims, O-tackle to the Steelers.
Self-explanatory.
Exactly. 21, we have a bit of an interesting one. Terrion Arnold, which he called this like a week ago that Xavier Howard was going to be cut, and he was just cut like 3 days ago. This was a great move by you, Nick Cohen.
And even if not, I think Dolphins still could take corner because Xavier Howard, sure, he had a double-digit interception season, but that was 4 or 5 years ago. He got 1 interception in the past 2 years. He has not been
He's
good.
Overrated.
He is
unbelievable.
Best corner in the league a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Now he's not even top 25, I would say. I mean, great pick by me. I think,
I love it.
They could use offensive linemen. But
I'm going to speed run through Tampa because that's my team. At 22 to Philly, I think this is an obvious one. Kamari Lassiter, corner out of Georgia. Philly team, the front office loves their Georgia guys. We call them the Philadelphia Bulldogs for a reason. Kamari Lassiter is pretty self-explanatory for me. And then at 23, we have Jared Verse, who's somehow still on the board, getting partnered up against Will Anderson on that Houston front seven, which is despicable.
Logically, he was going to go at 16, but
Yeah,
I don't like
logically,
logic.
but
I don't like
Justice Covert, he sneaks around. That's why they call him Covert.
Yeah.
24, Dallas center Jackson Powers Johnson. They're losing Tyler Biadasz. Jackson Powers Johnson's an immediate replacement. Great player, too, out of Oregon. Very solid.
Great name.
And 25, Cooper DeJean, the first white cornerback, I think, ever taken in the first round of the NFL draft. This is a feat. I can't believe it. Cooper DeJean is a phenomenal player, though. Great in man coverage. Someone that I think the Packers could really use. They have Jair Alexander. He's solid. But I think he's past his prime, unfortunately. He gives him some much-needed help on that opposite side.
Well, and he's also he's flexible as a safety too, which they could also use because I think they're losing Darnell Savage as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at 26, to my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Braylon Trice. And real quick, real simple, a couple years back we took Joe Tryon Choyanka. Last year we took Yaya Diaby. These are guys that aren't really flashy, but they're good at doing their job. They have great technique. This guy screams first-round Tampa Bay Buccaneers selection.
Well, Joe Tryon was another Washington guy, too.
Exactly. Excellent technique, very solid player. He fits. Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle at 27 to Arizona. I think Tyler Guyton could go here, but Morgan's a great pick. I love
Arizona
what we did
guy.
there.
Arizona to Arizona doesn't have to move.
Very true. And Buffalo's an interesting one. We have Keon Coleman at FSU going. I think this could be a great pick if Diggs comes back. I'm going to say something hot that I don't think a lot of people will like, but if they get rid of Diggs and they draft Coleman, I think Coleman's better in the long run.
Yeah, Coleman is really great at contested catching, which works really well with Josh Allen because he loves throwing it in double coverage.
Fade ball, new Mike Evans potentially in Buffalo.
Yep.
29, Dan Campbell, real bite off your kneecap kind of guy. This guy's out of Toledo, and this guy's a dangerous man. Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo, very, very solid. I think this
underrated
is right up Dan Campbell's guy. They're going to have this little, handshake with the elbows and all that stuff. Dan Campbell's an animal. These guys are going to be like slapping and hissing, doing all the Dan Campbell kind of stuff. At 30, Baltimore taking Graham Barton. I'm going to speed run this explanation.
Versatile.
Very versatile. Exactly, very versatile. Baltimore's losing both offensive guards. They could re-sign him. Both O-tackles are cap casualties. They need to get rid of one. Graham Barton can play all 4 positions minus center on the offensive line. Very versatile, great pick. And at 31, we have San Francisco taking Kool-Aid McKinstry, which is one of the funniest names I think we've seen in the first round of the draft ever. And this cornerback is very, very solid. San Francisco would do great with him. Last, oh my Lord, I need to catch my breath. 32, Jerzon Newton. I can't believe we let him slip to 32, but we did, and I can't believe he fell to the Chiefs. But this gives
the
them
Chiefs
an out
need receiver.
if Chris Jones leaves.
But if Chris Jones leaves, even if he doesn't, this guy can learn behind one of the best D tackles in recent history. I mean, this is a steal for the Chiefs.
I needed that.
Receiver in the second round, very deep receiver class.
Thank you for the save,
End of story.
Nick Cohen. But
of course,
ladies and gentlemen, next draft segment, we're going to do like a 25-minute segment because I thought we had more than enough time, and we still sped run that like crazy. So in about a month and a half, we're going to do an updated mock after a little bit of free agency has gone by, after the combine has gone by, pro days, all that kind of stuff as we get closer to draft. But until then, these are our terrible picks. In a month and a half, we'll look and see which ones we got right and which ones we didn't. So, we'll check back up in a month.
Hello, my name is Tyler Brownrigg. I hope you're enjoying watching whatever show it is that's playing right now here on Hitting the Field Network. And if you're interested in more of our shows or want to know more about the one you're currently watching, don't worry, I'm here to tell you. Our week starts off on Mondays with HTF Bets, hosted by the Bets Boys, Andrew Montana, Ezra Hines, and Giovanni St. Cyrin. You can catch that show live Mondays at noon for all things betting in sports. I highly recommend it. And then you can follow it off on Tuesday with The Combine, hosted by the illustrious Ty Paton. If you're in for a more laid-back, kind of podcast-style show, a lot more casual, that is definitely the show for you. Maybe you'll catch some Ty Squared action with me on there. Wednesdays, every week, you'll be able to catch the vlog, learn about what's going on behind the scenes here in the studio at Hitting the Field, get to know more about us, especially the people behind the camera, who they are, and what we do to make these shows every week. And on Thursdays, live at noon, you can watch the main show with me as your host every Thursday, where we'll be covering all of the major storylines for any sport, be it football, basketball, hockey, soccer, you name it, we'll be talking about it on the main show. And then Friday, you can watch Nighttime with your hosts, Matty Glass and Patrick Previty, for all things college sports, especially with a focus on UCF sports and maybe the ones you haven't heard about so often, like tennis or women's track and field. It can be anything college on Nighttime. And if you're interested in joining Hitting the Field and you're a UCF student, DM us on any of our social medias at Hitting the Field, and also give us a follow on all those, and subscribe to this channel if you want to catch more of our content. But enjoy the rest of your show. As always, I'm Tyler Brownrigg, and I'll be seeing you on Main Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. And although that was probably the longest mock draft I think anyone's ever done, we do hope you had some fun with it. And instead of diving into more NFL like I usually do, some absolute lowlife dragged me into talking about MLB. I'm sorry, John Warner. I love you. John Warner is here to talk baseball. And first and foremost, John Warner, do you also love Sydney Sweeney?
I mean, who doesn't, Ty?
Hey, that's what I'm. Hey, wait, baseball, John. We got to stay on the topic here.
Right.
We can't get too overwhelmed. You got to keep our minds in the right place. So, as we all know, I'm sorry, John Warner. But a couple days ago, MLB spring training started, and I started to get to thinking about this. There are a lot of players around here that have very interesting storylines attached to them. And I was thinking about, which storylines can we go ahead and stamp down? Which ones have merit, which ones don't? And who better to ask than John Warner? So we brought our boy out here to answer some of these questions about these players and see potentially who's going to stink and who's going to be good, whose storylines are actually going to mean something at the end of the day. And so, kicking things off, we have Javier Baez, who's currently serving out a 6-year contract with the Tigers, 4 years remaining. But he's been on a relatively steady decline ever since he won the 2016 World Series with the Chicago Cubs. And so, apologies. So, my question to you for this is going to be, because he's been on this decline for so long, is it too late for Baez? Does he have it in him to come back and have some kind of career resurgence here? Because it's been since 2016. It's been such a steady decline.
Yeah, so the thing about spring training is that for 95% of the players, it does not matter. If you're a superstar and you're struggling during spring training, it does not matter. You can hit 0.005 for all I care, and it will not matter because these games do not count. But for that 5% of players, this is actually really important for them, and Javier Baez is one of those 5% of players. His tenure with the Detroit Tigers since he signed there, I believe in the 2021 offseason, the Tigers were aggressive in free agency that year. They signed him and Eduardo Rodriguez to big contracts, and for lack of better terms, they still stink. The Tigers, in the worst division in baseball, still have not even come close to win the division. They did finish second last year in the AL Central, but they were below 500. So more or less the NFC South of baseball, the AL Central. But getting back on topic, Javier Baez, I feel like, is maybe a candidate for a bounce back, but his problem is that he ain't getting any younger. He's already 31, wrong side of 30, especially for a middle infielder. Maybe he projects to second. Like, even when he was with the Cubs, his defense was never
would
amazing.
you say it is too late for him?
I would think so. I just don't think that he has any kind of bounce back potential. Swing and miss is just too much. He does not have enough plate discipline.
Yeah.
Especially with today's pitchers, how they can spin breaking balls. He just can't do it anymore.
And I want to move forward and talk about one other different player here. We have Alex Manoah on this list coming up next. And he's currently listed under contract arbitration for the upcoming season. Stands to reason this guy isn't what he used to be. He kind of stinks in the long run, to put it lightly, I guess. But, however, the Blue Jays seem rather optimistic for the upcoming season, and they should. They have a pretty strong pitching rotation, I'd have to say. But the biggest standout with this guy comes in the form of his performance in the most recent season. He was demoted to AAA twice in 2023 and only started in 19 total games. I know you mentioned that he was even demoted to Single A for a little bit, but this guy is still really young. He still has, hopefully, a long career ahead of him. And I wanted to ask you, what can he do now to set himself up for success later? Because this guy was drafted 11th overall back in 2019, so what can he do to live up to that?
Right, and like you mentioned, it was just a dreadful 2023 for Manoah. He was the opening day starter. He projected to be the ace for the Jays coming into the year, and he could not have been further from that. He was horrible. Even his opening day start was really a precursor of things to come. Gave up a ton of runs, only lasted, I think, 3 2/3 innings. But for Manoah, it's not like he's just a random guy who they trotted out there. This guy has pedigree, like you mentioned, a very early first-round pick, finished third in Cy Young voting in the American League just a season before, pitched in the All-Star game, had a segment where he was mic'd up in the All-Star game, which was a super huge deal. I know a lot of people didn't like it. His attitude kind of rubbed people the wrong way. And so when he got sent down to the Florida Gulf Coast League, that was the Florida Complex League, something like that, Single A baseball, he got shelled. He got lit up in developmental baseball. And so that was not a good sign for them. He eventually came back to the majors and then got sent right back down to AAA and was left off the postseason roster. So it was just overall not a great year for them. The most telling stat, I believe, for Manoah, his whip, walks and hits per innings pitched, was 1.74. MLB average whip is like 1.3. In 2022, he had a .99 whip, which was elite. That is elite. And then he was a full .8 above that. So just that's a very telling stat for him.
And moving forward after Manoah, hopefully this guy has a great career ahead of him, but we're looking at the Rockies' first baseman, this guy Chris Bryant, who supposedly was going to be one of the top players in baseball just 4 years back?
Right.
And then just decline. It was very, very unfortunate. This guy did play on the same Cubs World Series team as Javier Baez, who we just previously looked at, though. But he's had a shadow cast over him in recent years. He unfortunately hasn't played over 100 games in a season since 2019. He only averages 60 games played per season over the last 5 seasons. And as much as I want to believe in him this year, his track record just has injured reserve written all over it. And John Warner, I saw multiple Rockies fans call Bryant's contract the worst in Rockies history, which I don't know if it's too early to say that. So it's only been 2 years. Does he have room to grow from here? Do you think he can salvage what it is, or is this deal potentially an albatross for his career?
I mean, I think at this point, if you're the Rockies fan and the Rockies ownership, you kind of just have to chalk this one up to a loss. Players don't get less injured as they get older. That only happens to Tom Brady or our Lord and Savior Tom. But yeah. Chris Bryant has been injury-prone his entire career, and I have no reason to think that that'll get any better as he gets older. He does play in cores, which will help his hitting stats, so he might get saved by the Rocky Mountain elevation. But other than that, I think, like Baez, they're kind of aging out now. He was a former top prospect. He was the #1 prospect in baseball when he was first called up in 2015, and then had a phenomenal career in Chicago, Rookie of the Year and MVP, World Series champion. But like Baez, he went bag chasing, and it kind of backfired on him. They lost a lot of their prestige because of that. My
last question for you comes on the player Vaughn Grissom. He is currently the Red Sox second baseman, turned from Atlanta Brave. This is a guy that hasn't yet really stuck his feet into the infield, made it known that that's his position. Do you think he can successfully play second base for the Red Sox, or do you think maybe he's going to get moved to the outfield?
I think he can play second. He filled in pretty well when he first came up in 2022. He filled in pretty well for Ozzie Albies. He had big shoes to fill, and he did fill them well. He actually debuted at the Red Sox in Fenway, the team he now plays for, with a dynamic home run over the monster. So Red Sox fans should be pretty familiar with him. I know Ezra's giving me thumbs up back there. He likes it. I think this was a great trade for the Red Sox. They kind of offloaded Chris Sale's contract, and he wasn't really doing much for them with their current state of the team. They finished in last year, so not really sure what their plans are as far as competing for 2023. But Vaughn is a nice young piece to have. He has a lot of potential. The bat's there. Everyone knows about the bat, but really the question is his fielding. Can he field? I mean, second base is the easiest position on the infield to play.
That's crazy.
He can't play shortstop. He came in last year competing for the starting shortstop job with Orlando Arcia. Ron Washington was singing his praises all offseason. I know about it. I heard all about it, how he was going to be a great shortstop. And he was pretty terrible at short. He made a bunch of errors filling in for Arcia when he got hurt last year, and he just could not cut it. So I think he will project long-term at second, maybe in left field, but great young piece for Vaughn. I like this trade for the Red Sox.
Yeah, and I agree. And everyone in the back, switch to camera 1 in 3, 2. They already did it. Just felt a little devious right there, had to let them know. But anyways, thank you, John Warner, for coming out and talking some MLB spring training with us. It's always a great time when you come on and talk baseball. It's like I'm trapped in this endless cycle of John Warner information, and I love it. So we will be right back in just a second. We got an interesting segment 3 coming up that we haven't done yet, but is tickling my fancy. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right on the other side of this break. So Tyler Brownrigg, it says in my notes you're an Oklahoma fan.
That is correct.
So, let me ask you, bud. Is Texas back?
All right, I put on a brave face a lot, but this year, I'm really scared that they are, man. Okay, they just beat Alabama. They're gonna be top 4 in the rankings. And last year, they beat us 48-0.
Yeah.
It was humiliating. We're the Oklahoma Sooners. We were the best ever. We were talk of the town. We had Baker, Kyler, and Jalen 3 years in a row. And now, are we good? I don't know. We haven't won a national title since 2000. We're number 18, I think, and nothing matters, dude.
Sometimes we build up these walls thinking they're impenetrable. But sometimes you have to knock these walls down to build up bigger and stronger ones. And you got to be tough through that. It's hard being an Oklahoma fan at this time, but grass is always going to be greener on the other side of the hill, buddy.
Is it? I cannot live through a Texas national championship. I can't. I'll never recover.
You want to talk about Lincoln Riley?
What'd you just say to me?
I just want to know if you want to talk about Lincoln Riley.
You listen here, you court-ordered quack.
Ladies, gentlemen, hopefully Sydney Sweeney. Today we are doing Jeopardy! Woo! We have Nick, Matthew, and Ezra joining us today to go ahead and cook. And Ezra, I believe you already know what pick you're going with first. The board is yours. What are you getting?
There's a lot of great categories on this board.
Yeah, there are.
And I think I'm going to start it off easy and go nicknames 100.
Nicknames 100. People in the back, do y'all have the question to throw on there?
Get it? Nicknames.
Yeah, for Nick.
That was really
That
funny.
was literally so funny.
I'll take that as I know, but I still have that. Yeah! Woo! All right. This house pet currently plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I'm thinking Rudy. No, I'll go Karl Anthony Towns.
Cat, Karl Anthony Towns, that a baby, right on the money. Ezra gets 100 points. Maddie, take a little note right there. I'm going to pop it up on my computer because I'm a genius like that. Anyways, Ezra Hines, the board is still yours. You are more than welcome to make another selection here. And until he gets it wrong, y'all are just stuck. Too bad, so sad.
Enjoy your time down there, by the way.
Yeah.
chill.
Let's see. Should I just clear off?
Board.
Should I clear off the board?
Pretty please.
Should I clear off just all the 100s and just
There we go,
build
there we go,
from
there
the
we go.
bottom?
I mean, you can if you want to.
Make it boring.
You know what? I won't do that. I'll go nicknames 200.
Nicknames 200. I also know this one off the top of my head. So, actually, although Joe Burrow is trying to steal this title, this NFL quarterback was the original Joe Cool.
Oh.
He's got to answer first.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Actually, could be two guys.
It could be like 5, but okay.
There was one person that was Joe Cool.
Joe Cool.
Yeah. Trademark name. Not trademark, but.
I'm going to go with Joe Montana.
Hey, got it right.
I
That's
was-
300 for Ezra.
Hey, this close
yeah,
to
it
going
was
to
either
Joe
name it,
Flacco.
but-
Saved. You
No,
saved
you're right,
though
yeah.
at the end. Ezra Hines, the board is still yours.
I was this close to going
Not
Joe
how real
Flacco
Jeopardy
there.
works.
The board is still yours.
You know what?
We have
Run
these
it.
two going
Keep
right
running it. Nicknames 300.
Nicknames 300?
Yeah.
All right, you want to go ahead and throw up that question right there?
Did you
'Cause
learn
I don't
anything
have
else
this
in
on
school?
All right. Here we go. Dick Lane still holds the NFL single-season interception record, which earned him this nickname.
Night Train Lane.
He's still cooking. 600 points. We got to have you lose, man.
You had the script.
Yeah, he had the script the whole time. He snuck my computer.
Listen,
while
I
was
sat
looking.
here randomly. Any of y'all could have sat here.
Yeah.
Are
you're
you continuing
right.
the saga? Or are you moving forward to a different category?
I'll move to a different category. I'll give him a chance at that. Let's go.
Oh.
Let's go to franchises for 100.
Franchises for 100. All right. It's 100. So, which NFL team has the most Super Bowl appearances?
Oh God. Oh God. Okay. Oh no, I'm so getting this one wrong. It would be wrong if I didn't go for them. I'm gonna go for the New England Patriots.
And he's still on the money. They're leading by 1 to the Steelers. They have one more.
You said
appearance
these
than the
questions
Steelers.
are. You said these 100 questions are like.
Well, that's one that you just
That
don't
giveaway,
overthink.
that
You
was
can't
like a-
overthink it.
Those
You
that-
can't
two weren't
overthink
even
it.
my top 2 choices.
Yeah.
You can't overthink it.
All right. You know what? Go back to franchises. We'll go 200.
Franchise is 200. It
We're
is.
building up, boys.
All
We're
right,
building
all right,
up.
all right.
Don't talk
You're
to
dead
me.
for this
Don't
one.
talk.
Which F1 team has the most Grand Prix victories?
Oh, you got that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. Ooh, it's between 2. Because I only know 3.
If he gets this.
I'm gonna go with.
Teams?
I'm gonna go with. Mercedes.
Unfortunately, it's not Mercedes.
It's
You're
gonna
losing
be the other
200.
one.
Does
It's gonna be the other
anybody
one.
else want to guess? Ezra, you're down to $500 on the board.
I don't know
Darn.
nothing about
If you,
F1.
just know if you guess,
I
you
didn't know
lose
there was
points.
teams. I
Yeah,
thought it was,
no,
like,
I thought it was just a
individual
dude.
drivers.
I'll throw out something.
What do you got?
Ferrari?
Yeah,
Wait,
Ferrari.
let's go.
It was Mercedes or Ferrari. Those were the two. Ferrari
I had
was
Red
first.
Bull.
Mercedes was second.
I was between
Red Bull's
Red
too
Bull.
new.
They're too
Ferrari
new.
has 242.
Well, in fairness, I'm not very big on F1. I did not know that, unfortunately. so.
Matt, you are up to 200, and the board is yours.
You know what? Let's switch it over to EA Sports 100.
Oh
All
wow!
right, this is the
Look who's
easiest
going
question
100s
in the
now.
thing. EA Sports.
It's in the game.
That baby, he's cooking.
Yeah.
Woo! He cooked. Another 100 points for Matthew. All right, right now we have Ezra with 500,
My 100
Matt with
question
300,
was who,
and
what team out of 30 and 5 of them have made the Super Bowl a ton of times.
Matt,
He
the
just
board
has
is,
to finish a sentence. Got it.
the board is still yours.
You know what? Let's do
Joe Cool.
EA Sports 200. Let's start going now.
All right, EA Sports for 200. We have which team has had the most athletes featured on the cover of EA's college football video game series?
That's rough. Yeah. Let me think.
Welcome.
I told you this was gonna be the hardest one.
Dang, I don't know. I'm gonna just say Michigan.
It is Michigan.
Wait, for real?
4 cover athletes.
Let's go.
Oh my Lord. Matt and Ezra are tied at 500. Nick's gonna have to do some cooking later on. Big fat
Wait,
0 on
500?
his end. Matt,
Oh
the
my
board
God,
is
he got
still
the
yours.
200 sheet
Matt, the
stole.
board is still
Oh my
yours.
God.
All right. Let's do.
I can't believe you got that.
Do we have franchises 400?
We do.
I'll do that. We'll do that.
Franchises 400 is a daily double.
What is going on?
So this is the thing.
I'm enjoying the show.
There are
a spectator.
2 answers for this. Did I get this
Can you read the
wrong?
question?
Oh yeah, this is supposedly 500. 500 is daily double, but I put it at 400. We're flipping those two. Okay. Anyways, franchise 400, daily double. Which
more
NFL
money.
franchise had the most Hall of Fame quarterbacks under roster?
Okay, like of all time, not like same like.
Yeah, of all
Okay,
time.
okay.
Also, I mixed it up. This isn't a daily double. I totally messed it up.
Come.
This is just 400.
I have a shot.
But it's one team. Which NFL franchise had the most Hall of
feel
Fame
like-
quarterbacks?
I feel like it's either Cowboys or Niners. Just something in my gut is making me say I'm gonna say Niners. Bang bang Niner gang.
No, sir. You are down 400. You're down to 100. It's anyone's game. Does anybody want that question?
Is that like at the same time or like of all
Wait,
time?
Of all
I have
time.
like a question. So if
Yeah.
I go for this and it's,
You lose
get
points.
it wrong,
You will lose
I
points.
lose money?
but
Yeah.
do
You
I
lost
get to go
400.
next
That's
anyway?
how Jeopardy
Yeah.
works.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for it.
You're gonna go for that?
Yeah, I guess.
Which team has the most Hall of Fame quarterbacks?
Let's go.
Just remember,
with
you lose
the-
money if you don't get it.
Let's go with the Packers.
That was
Fortunately
my
not, Nick Cohen. Ezra, do you want to take a hint or is
Nope, because that was my
The
guess.
answer was the Rams with Waterfield, Van Brocklin,
Never.
Joe
Who's
Namath,
Waterfield?
and Kurt Warner.
Wow.
This is all the way back to the 30s.
John's cousin? Uncle. Gotcha.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that one is
So wait, he went for it. Does it go back to me?
Nope. It's my turn, but I'm minus 400.
Oh, fine.
Nick
I'll
Cohen.
live with that. All right, so
No, you don't get a chance on this
I'm
show.
going with nicknames for 400. Get back to 0.
Nicknames for 400.
Because that's the
back.
goal.
Or
That's the
negative-
goal.
Or negative 800.
Reggie Jackson was a playoff monster, earning him this nickname to coincide with the month the postseason was held.
I know this. Please get it wrong, Nick.
Monster.
I know this.
Whichever one of you calls it first gets it if he doesn't get it.
Oh my God.
My hand's going straight up the second he
I'm
says
giving you another
something.
15 seconds.
15. All right.
13.
Well, the playoffs are in May and June. So
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Reggie May.
Me.
Ezra got it up first.
Mr. October.
Mr. October. That's what
The
it was.
playoffs are in October.
I played you so hard too. I was like, yeah, okay.
All right,
so what
I
is
didn't
it?
need your
So,
support.
current
I know what the
scores.
No, you
finals
Current
are.
scores.
All right,
Ezra
okay.
is sitting at 900. Nick is sitting at negative 800. And Matt is sitting at 100. Ezra, the board is yours.
The MLB World Series and playoffs is in October.
He's an MLB player?
All right, we're gonna go to. I
Reggie Jackson.
strangely, I definitely didn't know that this was a daily double or anything, but
I didn't tell you anything.
I think I'm gonna go with EA Sports for 500.
400. 400 is the daily double.
You don't
You
tell
said it
him that.
wasn't.
You
You
already
said
picked
it wasn't.
500.
No, yeah.
I'm just giving
Okay,
a
I'll
hint to the
still
next
go
guy.
for it.
Which 2 MLB franchises are franchises? Did you say EA Sports or franchises?
I said EA Sports, so we'll go franchises.
We'll go franchises. That's
Well,
fine.
he said the
All
daily
right,
double.
this is
Yeah.
still a daily double, actually.
Okay, yeah.
Which 2
That's what I meant.
MLB franchises are tied for the longest active playoff drought? So let me remind you: if you get one right, you get 500. If you get both right, you get 1,000. If you get both wrong, you lose 500.
Okay. Ooh.
And all of a sudden, you're swimming with Nick Cohen.
I just got a 301 correct, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to go with one of them as the Colorado Rockies, and the other one, oh my God, I'm gonna go with the. Oh God. Los Angeles Angels.
You got one.
Okay, the Rockies.
So he
is
saves,
right.
he keeps the points. Matt, your hand shot up. What do you got?
Is it the Oakland A's?
No.
It's not. You
What?
lose the
No.
points.
No.
You lose the points.
They were in the playoffs in like
Loser.
2015 through 2018.
Ezra's up. We were looking for the Tigers.
I
I was
thought
gonna guess that.
I
You
thought
weren't?
about them.
No.
When was the last time they were in the
Is
playoffs?
that Detroit?
A while ago.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Ezra
Back
Hines, the
with
board is
Detroit
still yours.
Tigers.
You are
Back with Miguel
leading
Cabrera.
by
I was
a
actually
thousand.
thinking
You're leading
Me
by
too.
1,800 points right now.
It's like
You're
A's
cooking.
are just
All right,
like
you have the board
generally
next.
awful all the
Do you
time.
know what's all been taken off right now?
You have franchises for 300.
Let's go that.
Nicknames for 5. You're gonna go franchise for 300.
Franchise for 300.
Franchise for 300s. Since 1915, which 8 NHL franchise has won the most Stanley Cups?
Oh, I'm such a hockey expert too. Oh God.
Just so you know, one of them's at like 25. The next one is at like 12.
Sick. Okay, well, I lost points here. Let's go with the. I don't even know that's a team actually.
Say it.
No, this is a team. I'll go with the Edmonton Oilers. It's not right though.
That is incorrect. Does anybody else want to take a stab at it?
How many points do I have right now?
You have negative 400.
Go deeper. Go
All right.
deeper.
All right, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got?
Is it the Bruins?
It's not the
guess
Bruins.
I was
It's
not
the-
falling
Nick, do
into
you
that
have it?
trap.
No, I have something in mind, but I'm not risking it.
All right, we'll move to the next one. I won't give you points. What do you think it was?
Toronto.
It was not. It was the
Okay,
Montreal
good.
Canadiens.
See, I'm
That's the.
learning.
Oh my God, that's the one I meant. I didn't mean.
All right, all right, all right. Ezra, the board is still yours since nobody got it.
Wait, what? He got it wrong though.
But everybody got it wrong.
Everybody else got it wrong.
So the
Nobody
board
else.
stays with him.
But when Matthew got it wrong and I guessed it wrong after, it was still going to me.
You
know,
just
shouldn't
stole
it
it.
be-
You know
But
what?
I gave you a fair trade because you hadn't gotten one right yet.
All right, fine.
Ezra, the board is still yours. You have
I disagree.
you have nicknames for 5.
This is Monopoly,
You have
everybody.
EA 3 down.
I smell
You have
favorites.
everything
And
in
then everything.
records and everything in movies.
Let's open up a new one. Let's go to records for 100.
Now, this is one of the easiest questions in the history of the world.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Who was the first and only player to score 100 points in an NBA game?
Oof. I think I remember Bob Cousy doing this, but I'm gonna go with might be Wilt Chamberlain. I would say.
Hey, you are absolutely correct. That is 1,200 for you total. What a cooker. The board is still yours.
Chef.
I was
me in my
really
career.
close between him and Jordan Farmar, but it was very close, very close. I'm gonna
Real-
go
real-
with.
Yeah.
real funny guy we got here.
I'm
Real
gonna
funny guy.
I'm gonna go with records for 200.
Records for 200. Records for 200. Who currently holds the NFL record for most rushing yards in a single season?
Wow, this is one I should know.
Don't overthink this too much. There are 10 greats out there, pretty
I'm
much.
so gonna overthink this. So I shouldn't open my mind to what I'm thinking because they get to guess after. I'm gonna go with Emmitt Smith.
Unfortunately, that is incorrect. You were down to 1,000. Do any of y'all want to shoot up?
I mean, why not?
What do you got?
All right. Is it Adrian Peterson?
It is not Adrian Peterson.
He would not have been on my radar, unfortunately.
I have one
Is
more
it?
guy.
Yeah, I'm negative money. It's fine.
Yep.
Is it Tomlinson?
No.
You said
No,
Ladainian
he's
Tomlinson?
like scrimmage yards.
Oh, it's scrimmage yards. You're right.
He was like scrimmage
You're
yards, not
right.
just rushing.
Yeah, you're right.
Incorrect again.
Off
Was
the
it
bus.
Barry?
Barry Sanders?
The answer was Eric Dickerson.
Oh, yeah, I should have had that.
All right, moving forward.
What
Is it still Ezra?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Because y'all keep
not.
getting it wrong. All right, Ezra, the board is yours still. You have all
If you
5
just
movies.
don't say anything,
all 5
I would
movies.
I
have
was
it. I
somewhat
would not have it
confident.
anymore. But you
AB
guessed.
had
On
like
this
that
side,
crazy
all you have is
season.
500 for nicknames. You then have 300 down on both of these and all 5 of movies.
Okay, let's go with EA Sports for 300.
EA Sports for 300, you're cooked.
I am for sure.
How many times has John Madden been featured on the cover of the EA series of the same name?
Ooh.
Oh,
That's a
as
good
long
one.
as it's been called Madden. Okay, I'm going to. All right, he definitely. Ooh,
They switched it in a
Ooh.
certain year to players, but I can't tell you what year that was.
yeah. Total There's no leeway either. I'm gonna go with 5.
That is incorrect. Either any of y'all want to take a shot at it? No?
I have
No?
something in mind, but no.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
the
fine.
answer was 12 times he has been the cover. Ever since it opened in 93. Ezra Hines, the board is still yours.
Yeah, it is.
I'll just go to sleep.
I'll go.
First time on Combine.
I'll go with. You said nicknames for 500 was still available?
It is.
Let's do that one.
All right.
I trust myself with nicknames a little bit.
This athlete was so dominant in his respective sport that he was nicknamed simply the greatest.
Sick. Dope. So I have you know what? No, I'm not gonna. I can't say my names out loud. I'm so good with speaking out loud. I need to stop yapping. Let's go with Wayne Gretzky.
That was my
Unfortunately,
thought.
that is incorrect.
It's between him and somebody else.
Do either of y'all want to
Who
take a shot
else?
at it?
You should take another guess.
Y'all want a
You
shot
know
at it?
what?
What do you got, Matt? What do you got?
Muhammad Ali.
It's Muhammad Ali!
Let's
He
go!
cooked! He cooked!
The
He's back
greatest.
in the game!
The greatest.
That was for 500. You're back in this. You are 600 away from Ezra at the moment. And iconic nicknames is now knocked out. You now have 300 down in records, 400 down in EA, and all 5 of movies.
Let's do EA Sports 400.
Oh,
EA
you're
Sports
crazy.
400. This one is,
Bro
I
just got back
believe-
positive. It's like, yeah,
I
run it
believe
back.
a daily double. Only 2 athletes have been on the cover of both NCAA and Madden titles. Who are they?
I know this one.
If you get one right, 400,
Actually,
both
it's not-
right, 800, and you clear Ezra, one wrong,
not
both
worth
wrong,
risking.
you lose 400.
It's not worth risking.
How much time do I
I'm
have?
so
How much
invested.
time do I have?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
25 now.
Oh, God. Okay.
20 now.
Stop.
Now 20.
I know it's
20.
not. No, it's not.
15.
Yep.
I genuinely, am blanking right now.
5.
4,
Is it a
3,
wide receiver?
2, 1.
Adrian Peterson.
And
That is unfortunately incorrect, but you're already out of time. You lose 400. You drop back to 800. Negative 800, I'm sorry. Does anybody else
Oh,
want to take a
thank you.
stab at these? There are 2.
Couldn't think of anything.
I'm not going to take a stab at it because I
None?
want to say
Oh, be risky. Come on.
No.
If you get 1, you get 400.
No.
But
Right.
you lose
I
points
could
if you get it
use
wrong.
that.
Do you know who it is? I'll give you another 5 seconds to think.
My guess was
No.
AP.
No?
No.
I know he
The
was.
answers were Barry Sanders
Oh.
and
course it
Larry
was.
Fitzgerald.
I would not.
I knew it
have
was a
had
wide receiver.
either.
I knew it was a wide receiver.
All right, ladies and
Larry
gentlemen.
Fitzgerald at
Ezra
pick.
Hines,
Got
it pains me to
Golly.
say it, but the board is still yours.
No, it's not.
It wasn't.
It is.
It's
it was,
Matthews.
Yeah, it was Matthews.
got
Oh, Muhammad
I'll
Ali,
be,
I'm so
I'll
sorry.
be, I'll be
It is
humble
yours.
with this one. I was just gonna take it, but I was like, no.
Alright.
They
Go
also
ahead,
need to
go
speak
ahead,
at some
Mike.
point.
We'll slowly start to climb back up. Let's do movies for 100.
Okay, this was a real easy one.
You're
If
getting
you-
real
if you-
close to me
if
now.
you don't get this wrong, I'm gonna be mad at you. All right?
Don't put that pressure on me.
I'm
Don't
putting it on
miss.
you.
All right.
A stinky hockey player becomes a PGA Tour champion in this 1996 comedy.
Okay, wait.
You have to know this.
I know the
There's no
name.
way
I
you
just
don't.
I know
What was that?
I know the name.
What was that?
It's with Adam
disgraceful.
Sandler. It's with Adam Sandler.
Is it?
Wait, no, the one where he does the golf game. The golf.
I think you're
This
thinking of the
is
wrong one. to be honest
hockey.
with you.
This is criminal.
Wait, hockey.
I'm
yeah, but
getting
he
the
becomes a
president
PGA.
on the phone right now.
Nick, I'll let you get it.
I'm not a
Oh
hockey fan. I'm not a
my
golf fan.
God, 10 seconds.
Mighty
You don't
Ducks.
know it?
No, it's not Mighty
What
Ducks.
is it?
Ezra.
Nick just said he doesn't know it, so
What?
I'll go for it.
Oh.
I already raised my hand.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
What is it?
I'll go with Happy Gilmore.
That
That's
was my
Happy
guess.
Gilmore.
That's what I said. Adam,
As soon as
You
he
said Mighty
No.
Ducks.
As soon as
but I said Adam
processed that-
Sandler. I should get 50 points.
No, you shouldn't. Ezra, the board is yours.
Let's go movies 200.
All right, that was
I
terrible.
am playing elite mind games over here.
Oh, damn, can we do one more for movies 200? Last one before Final Jeopardy? This true underdog story stars both Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller.
I'm gonna go with the Mighty Ducks.
No!
What? Oh, I heard underdog. I didn't. I honestly
All
didn't
right,
pay
if
said
attention.
it
y'all want to
earlier.
steal, it's yours. If
I didn't
not,
actually
we're
pay
gonna go to-
attention to the names. I want to say I just heard underdog
All
story.
right, all right, all right. Anything?
I'll take it.
No.
I don't know this
It's
either.
dodgeball. Come on, man.
Never in a million years.
Yeah.
What?
No.
All right.
We're not.
We'll be right back in a little bit. We're about to go to a break. Our final scores right now: Ezra at 100 points, Nick at -1,000, and Matt at -900.
Oh,
We're
okay,
going
wait.
to Final Jeopardy. We'll be back in a little bit.
Oh my God.
Jack, buddy, why are you here?
I don't really understand why I'm here. I got called a delusional fan. I just don't understand why I'm delusional if I think Kirk Cousins had the best mustache in the league.
Well, Jack, buddy, I don't want to be the one to tell you this, but I don't think anybody looks cool in handlebars.
But they're back, man. They're back.
They're not. They're not. Sometimes you just got to face the hard truth. It's right there in front of you. All these people, they're calling you delusional, but sometimes you got to worry about, am I projecting? Is it me? And in this
Let me
case,
tell you something, bud. It could never be me. Anything I say is factual and truth, and that's why the Vikings are going 16-1 this year.
organization, you have to look at your roster and say, I've had Kirk O'Thuggins for 6 years. Maybe it's time to move on.
There is no moving on from Kirk Thuggins and Justin Jefferson.
Do you think that maybe this all started just because of a little disappointment?
Nothing has started. This is how I live, and I am not delusional. I'm a prophet.
I hope Sydney Sweeney's watching.
Oh my
No,
God.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right. Moving forward.
I hope
We
not.
changed the rules a
Been
little
awful.
bit because two of these guys kind of stink at Jeopardy. That's Nick and Matt, and Ezra is up by $100. That's about
I was
it.
cooking
So,
a little.
we changed the rules.
More than
So
you.
they each have a sheet of paper.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to give the Final Jeopardy question. They're given a minute to answer the question. Write down. You can't really wager anything because you're both negative. So whoever gets the question right wins. We're going to make it interesting like that. Will you pop up the
I'm
Final
ready.
Jeopardy question, ladies
Oh my God.
and gentlemen? Only 4 colleges have produced both a Super Bowl winning quarterback and a U.S. president. Among these schools is Navy, Stanford, and Miami of Ohio. What school is the 4th? If nobody gets it right, it goes to Ezra because he had the most points. If one of you gets it right, you win.
What if I don't guess?
Get out of my studio.
Damn. All right.
I'll read it one more time as you think. Is there any way we can dim the lights in here so do a little Jeopardy music?
Yeah.
So
Your lack of
produced
music, honestly,
a
it's kind of bumming
Super
me
Bowl
out.
quarterback, winning quarterback.
Yeah, Super Bowl winning
Okay.
quarterback and a U.S. president.
President.
Any hope from the audience?
Nothing. By the way, you're already down to 45 seconds.
Can I phone a friend?
No.
Just my leg.
While you think if this helps at all,
Miami of
Navy
Ohio.
had Roger Staubach
Navy.
and Jimmy Carter. Stanford had John Elway and Herbert Hoover.
Go John
And
Elway.
Miami of Ohio had Ben Roethlisberger and Benjamin Harrison. One other team in here has a Super Bowl winning quarterback and a U.S. president that graduated from there.
What are we looking at for time?
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Time is up. I'm gonna walk myself over to the couch over
Good luck,
here.
gentlemen. Good luck.
We're gonna read everyone's papers and see if anyone got it right. All right, here we go. Ezra guessed USC. Unfortunately, that is incorrect. He still has a hope to win. He had the
went to,
most
like,
points out of
5
everybody
teams.
originally. So if both these guys who have negative money get it wrong, Ezra wins. If you
I feel good about that. I feel good about that.
Did he
I don't
actually
think
get
it's
it?
right.
Did he actually get it?
I want to. Do you want to read it? Come, like do those, bro.
Are we running out of time?
It says, if you can't read it, it says, who is Sydney Sweeney?
That's hilarious.
Was it?
You get like 100 points from me personally
All right.
for that, but
I'll
you
take it.
still don't beat Ezra.
I'll take it.
That was a great answer, though.
Thank
I
you,
salute you,
thank you,
your
thank you.
service.
Thank you. I try.
And
I
Nick
try so
Cohen.
hard.
A winning lotto ticket.
If it hit.
This would be the most insane
Shot.
comeback.
I'm telling you, like
All
Shrek
time.
trivia.
He didn't
No
get it.
way.
He didn't get it. Ty's fooling him.
Oh, don't hype me up like that.
The University of Michigan Tom Brady and Gerald Ford. Nick Cohen wins the whole thing. Oh my God! Oh my God! There's no way he looks like that.
I want you to know, I was going to put Michigan as a joke for Tom Brady.
Feat of sports I've ever seen. Oh my God!
I was this close to putting Michigan as a
That was
joke.
amazing.
I was like,
Oh my God! That was awesome.
That's going on
I was
my
gonna say
That
don't
is-
overthink it, but that would have given it away.
I would have put
Right.
if you would have said that, I would have put
my
Michigan.
goodness.
Because
Michigan,
I was
Nick
this close to
Cohen with
putting
the
Michigan.
snipe of the
as a-
century. Lord. All right,
Everyone
if I
count me
stay
out.
any longer, we're going to cut over like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We've been here too long. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Combine, and be tuned for next week because we may be doing a Combine on Combine for the NFL Combine. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in like a week. Great seeing you again. Oh, my God.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings on my hand, I'm a warrior.